Hello everyone, my name is
Anna,
Julia,
Linda,
Marieva,
Madalena,
Lazar
and we are DYouth.
Are you high? Are you low? Hang on there, you aren't alone. Here we come, here we go, the youth around the globe.
DYouth welcomes you to the new episode of the Diabetes Daily Podcast. Enjoy! Welcome. Please tell me something about yourself.
Hey everyone, I am Julia, I am from Hungary and I live in Budapest. I am 25 and I have diabetes since I was 12, so it's been 13 years now. I use a pen and I don't have a sensor, but luckily in 1 week I will have a sensor. I already have the appointment for that, so I am very excited. I studied medicine. I just finished it this summer, and now I work in a hospital at the emergency room. But my more distant goal is to become a pediatric endocrinologist. But it will take some more years.
How was your diagnosis? How do you feel about it now, and how far did this change?
When I had my diagnosis, I was 12, so before my teenager years. At first, I didn't know what diabetes is, but when the doctors told me about it, I was more interested in it than scared or frustrated about it. I accepted my diagnosis very easily. I did everything what the doctors told me. I did a very strict diet. I counted every single carbohydrate. So in the first years, I had a very good HbA1c level. But when I became 14, 15 years old and my teenager years started, everything became terrible. I couldn't keep my diet. I gave myself less insulin. I couldn't take control of my blood sugar at all. I didn't care anymore about my diabetes. So these years were terrible. My blood sugar was constantly high. My HbA1c was 11 at that time. I was very tired and demotivated and depressed all the time. One time I ended up in the hospital. I remember it was Easter and I spent the holiday in the hospital. So it was a very difficult time, also for my mom, because she was worrying about me very much. But as I went through my teenager years and I was around 18, 19 years old, it suddenly just disappeared. My diet went back to normal, my blood sugar and HbA1c went back to normal. Yes, I had some changes because I changed my doctor and my insulin as well. But mostly I think it was the end of my teenager years. And now everything is normal. I don't have any problem with my diabetes. We have a good relationship now. So, as I look back to myself, it was normal that time because my metabolism went very bad as a normal teenager. But still, when I was there, it was terrible and I thought it will take forever and I never be normal again.
What scared you the most at first with your diabetes?
So, as I mentioned, at first I wasn't scared at all. I was very interested about it, and I found it special that I have this disease. Because it is not a bad thing, I just have to be more conscious about some things in my life. But a bit later, because I had that very bad teenager years and a lot of hyperglycemia, I think after that I feared about the high blood sugars and also that bad time will come back again. But that never happened, luckily. It is still a little bit in my life, But I think it is normal for everyone and allowed to be a bit angry when our blood sugar goes high.
What barriers do you feel diabetes has created in your life?
I think my biggest barrier is that I don't like to ask for help. That is true also in general about my life. I was never ashamed of my type 1 diabetes, but I am not proud of it. So if someone asks me about my disease, I am happy to tell them about it, but it is never the first thing that I say during an introduction. So all my closest friends know about my disease and know a lot of things about my diabetes. If someone interested in it, I am telling them my story. So, about not asking for help, I have a story about it. When once I was at university during a small lecture where none of my friends were there, so no one knew that I have diabetes. There, suddenly, I started to feel a hypoglycemia. It was a very bad one. My heart was beating so fast. I was sweating, the thinking went slower. And I was panicking very bad that all I could think about was that what will happen to me? Will I die or will someone help me? Also, the part of the story that I didn't have any hypoglycemia treat with me because I just forgot them at home. And I didn't want to leave the room because the circumstances wasn't like that. I didn't want to disturb the lecture. There were no stores nearby, and for last but not least, I didn't want them to know that I have diabetes. I could ask for help. I know that they would help me somehow, but I didn't want to be a burden and I didn't want to complicate things. I don't know. I just didn't feel like asking for help. So I decided that I will wait for the end of this lecture. Actually, at the end, my blood sugar went that low, so at that point I couldn't think normally, and it was very difficult to think and make a good decision. And when I finally measured my glucose level, I was frightened because it was 1.7 millimole per liter, which is very, very low. I think as I look back now to this story, I was afraid of what others think about me. So my conclusion is about this story that we shouldn't feel ashamed to ask for help at any time, at any circumstances. Yes, sometimes there is a time when you feel like it and you cannot force yourself, but it is your life and we should normalize to ask for help. I also have a very bad experience about forgetting my insulin, my plus insulin at home when I went on a vacation and I asked for just a pen of insulin in a random hospital. And they were so mean to me and told me, if you're a diabetic, you should have insulin with you. Didn't you know that? And they didn't help me just like that. It shouldn't be like that. So ask for help. Don't feel ashamed. So don't feel ashamed that you have type 1 diabetes. And sometimes you forget things home because everyone does. We are all humans and they don't have the right to judge you.
What was your personal power secret to keep on and fight?
My personal power secret is all the people around me who helps me somehow to get through this. All my friends who listen and understand my problems and stops and wait for me whenever I have a low blood sugar during a run or a hike. And my doctor who helps me a lot and lets me to manage my diabetes very freely. He gave me the therapy which fits me the best and always trusted me and my diabetes management. I think that means a lot when you have a lifelong disease.
What is your dream for the future of diabetes?
One of my dreams about diabetes is that all the stigmas disappear. So people will know the difference between type 1 and type 2 and all the types of diabetes. That they won't think that I have diabetes because of my lifestyle and won't tell me that you are too young to have diabetes. And that they won't judge me and tell me all the time that you cannot eat that because you have diabetes. Also, I wish that all people would know how to manage a loved one who has diabetes and would not ask silly questions which annoys us.
What message would you like to leave? What is your conclusion?
So my conclusion of all of this is that don't be afraid of asking for help, even if you do not know the people around you. Because our health is very important. It is more important than what people think of you. Even if you do not feel like it, they will help you. It's so important to share our diabetes and our problems with people around us. It can help more than you think. And I think that is one way to make stigmas disappear. Also, that is normal if you have some bad periods in your life and your blood sugar doesn't look like how it should be. We are humans, we have some bad days, bad weeks, we make mistakes. We forget things sometimes and we are not perfect. I am sure that it will get better the next day or the next week or maybe the next year. Just do your thing and work on yourself. It will be just enough.
Are you high? Are you low? Hang on there, you aren't alone. Here we come, here we go, the youth around the globe.
DYouth thanks you for receiving this episode of Diabetes Daily. We hope you like it. Thank you for your support. If you feel like sharing your own story, check out our show notes on how you can do so. Until next week, we wish you good blood sugar.